Welcome to the Vision Gap Show. Align your big idea and vision with a plan of action to resonate and stand out in your market. With your hosts, Andy Halko and Tony Zayas.
All right, welcome to today's episode of the Vision Gap Show. Today we're going to be taking a look at this Japanese concept meaning a reason for being, also known as Ikigai. Did I say that right this time, Andy?
You got it right. Ikigai.
All right. So, yeah, it's a cool concept. You talked a bit about this, did a webinar earlier this week that went really well. And I think this is a cool topic for us to talk to and finding this, having awareness of this and applying it to your business and kind of how Frictionless supports that. So if you want to give a little bit of recap and just kind of explain this concept first.
Yeah, I found this years ago, and it was something that kind of hit me, and I was like, oh, this is what I want, right? And really it comes down to that if you can find that center point, your Ikigai, that it puts you in a position of finding happiness in a lot of ways, that you can find what you love. You see that there at the top, something that you love, something that the world needs. And when you have those two things that cross over, something you love and the world needs, you have a mission, right? And then something that the world needs, what you can be paid for, what someone would be willing to give you money for, that creates a vocation, something, for you to live your life off of. And then what you are good at is, and what you can get paid for is a profession. So you're good at this and you get paid for it. It's beyond a vocation because the world just doesn't need it. You're good at it. And then this overlap of when you're good at something and you love it, it becomes something that's a passion. And so then you see here that when you can have a passion, a mission, a vocation, and a profession, that really puts you in this magical spot. You're doing what you love. You're getting paid for it. The world wants it and you're good at it. And so I've always loved this concept and tried to think in my own life, how do I find my Ikigai? And one of the reasons that I shared this in that webinar was that, for me, in the strategic consulting and all of that I've done for the last 20 years with companies, technology, just because I originally started out as a programmer, really heavy into tech, and now with AI and what's possible, I actually think that, this moment in time and what's capable with technology and my experience and all of that have really pushed me into that center point of my Ikigai. And that has created this product Frictionless. And that's just a big concept for me, is this and how I've kind of found that center point.
Yeah. And thinking back to that, you said you kind of discovered this concept, years back. In discovering it, what that probably helped you do, I'm guessing, is just have the awareness to define what it is you love. What does the world need? What can you be paid for? What are you good at? And then figuring out how to, align with that in a way. And then I think, Frictionless is, I feel like it's taking advantage of opportunity that is right now, today. In ways we talk about Frictionless and say that, the goal of Frictionless is to get rid of consultants. Well, the core business is as consultants. So it's that first mover advantage that you now have because you're diving head into this, but it's the awareness that you have of it that allowed you to do that. So would you say there's truth to that?
Yeah, 100%. You're right on the ball of the fact that I think in any concept, right, that if you have some understanding, it helps bring clarity and that they talk about luck is just opportunity and being in the right place and having the right information. And there is no such thing as luck. I think Ikigai is very similar, is that, knowing these things, you can go about your life and be able to identify, this is something I'm passionate about. This is something the world needs. And it helps you create your own path to this place that I think generates happiness. And I really do think like this is one of those concepts that helps people come into their own and feel really confident about their place in the world. And so having that awareness and being able to go throughout your day and drive towards it, I think gives you that opportunity, and it doesn't become luck. You make your own luck, you make your own happiness by, being aware of this, right?
Absolutely. And when we're talking about this is coming from a personal perspective for an individual. And obviously probably a great exercise for anybody to go through and kind of see where they fall and what's out there for them. But what do you think on like the business side of things? How can this be applied to a business? Because I'm looking at this and I'm seeing what the world needs, what you're good at. I'm seeing that as the market, your offerings, right? What can you be paid for? Like looking at competitive landscape. I see a lot of crossover in how this could apply. Do you have
I totally agree. And it's actually something I have used in previous consulting, is that I think you can take this and elevate it to a company level. And it's not talking about a person, but it's talking about, the organization as a person, where we start looking at core values that define your who you are, right? And that's a shared understanding across everybody that's there. And if you take it up that level, you're exactly right. What does the organization love, and a mission? Like what you love is kind of that vision and mission and culture, what the world needs, like you said, is the audience and the target market. What you can be paid for comes back to, your offerings. And like you said, even competitors of, how competitive is it? And then what you're good at is obviously this operations side, and producing better solutions and, whatever it is, just delivering value at the end of the day. And that overlaps with what you can be paid for compared to competitors, and, what people are willing to spend that value for what you're good at. And if what you're good at and the value is something you love delivering, you look at this and you can very easily say that this is applicable to organizations. And I think that, when we talk about frictionless and what it does of helping people figure out their core values, their vision, mission, their differentiation, their target audience with personas, analyzing competitors, developing SWOT, where it's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats that help them, deliver better value. It's interesting that this Ikigai in many ways, at a high level, reflects a lot of what people can do in the product that we developed when I found my Ikigai, right?
Yeah, for sure. And then a lot of this, just some of the things you're talking about and, putting together like core values, mission, things like that. That makes me think of, we have talked in the past about companies that just breeze through that type of thing. They just put some BS together, these vanity values and mission that are essentially meaningless. And then when you step back and look at it, in order to accomplish, to become a market leader, to be successful as a company, or to live in your Ikigai, right? You can't do it alone. So you got to put together a team. And so if you're not defining those pieces truthfully, you're never going to find the people that are in alignment with your mission. You're never going to have people that bring passion to the business. And so it's just, you're losing out, and you're just, shooting yourself in the foot. So it just reinforces to me that concept of really doing the work, defining vision, mission, values, in a way that is realistic, that is an actualization of the things you stand for, and so forth.
Well, I think it comes back to, we talk about the word frictionless and why we made that the name of the product, right? And I think when you develop things like core values and develop them correctly, it reduces friction because it's bringing on the right people, it's getting alignment. And so organizations that don't create great core values It's not that they're not ever going to be successful. I mean, there are companies, many probably, that have created huge success with these vanity values. But I think it creates more friction and requires other parts of the business to make up for it, to push through, right? You may have weak core values, but those companies that have been successful probably had to really push on other levels of great value to their audience, or like really unique product. And so I do think, it's okay to say, like, sometimes people don't have great ones. My belief is that those reduce friction. And even if you have an amazing product, you have something else that can help push you forward, creating great core values will just reduce the friction and help you move forward faster, farther. And so it's really comes down to that, is that it's not that you can't be successful. It's just how fast and how far can you go, and what tools can you use to make that happen faster.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. The idea of reducing friction and do it, you might be able to get there, but it's going to take a whole lot more effort. So why not make it easy on yourself? So I think that goes back to the idea of frictionless being a tool that you can go and map out these things, define these different areas, define, a lot of the things that apply to this whole chart here that we're looking at, and use that to find alignment, reduce friction, and drive yourself closer to your Ikigai personally and from a company perspective.
100%.
Well, very cool. This was interesting topic. I enjoy talking about it. We will be back next week with another episode. We encourage you guys to visit frictionlesshq.com. Check it out. There's a free trial available. Dive in, and we hope we can help you find your Ikigai. Take care, everybody. We'll see you next time.
This episode of the Vision Gap Show has been brought to you by Frictionless. Build high-impact strategy at scale. Create your vision, brand position, and go-to-market strategy, all in a collaborative AI-enabled workspace. Visit frictionlesshq.com to create your free account today.